My beloved child, the love story being prepared for you will not only transform your heart, it will also cause many people to reconsider what they once believed a sincere connection should look like. I am reminding you of this now, because what is about to unfold is not a passing encounter, nor is it an emotion that will appear and quickly fade away. It is the result of a long journey. You continued walking during days when you could not yet see an answer. There were moments when you believed you had been forgotten in the vastness of the world, when your quiet prayers seemed to vanish into empty space and no one truly understood the longing hidden deep within you. Yet I never overlooked a single one of your sighs. While you saw only silence, I saw the things being arranged. While you believed your life was standing still, I was quietly shaping two journeys, preparing two hearts, and leading every small step toward a time when both of you would be mature enough to recognize one another. What is coming will astonish others, not because of outward display or dramatic declarations, but because of the rare sincerity revealed through the way the two of you treat one another. The world has become accustomed to relationships that begin with intense emotion and end in pain. People often speak of love in beautiful language, yet lack patience when difficulties arise, loyalty when the excitement fades, and humility when unfinished areas must be repaired together. Therefore, when others see the two of you choosing to listen rather than fight for victory, to protect rather than control, and to remain so that you may grow together, they will recognize that something different is present. Your story does not need to be perfect in order to become a light. It only needs to be honest, steadfast, and built upon values that do not change with temporary emotion. I know you have grown weary from waiting. There were nights when you wondered why others seemed to find a place where they belonged so easily, while you continued passing through encounters that led nowhere. You offered sincerity and received indifference. You tried to explain your heart and were still misunderstood. At times, you had to gather the pieces others left behind. Those experiences caused you to question whether healthy love truly existed. Yet I did not allow pain to become the ending of your story. I used those days to teach you the difference between attention and genuine appreciation, between beautiful promises and a heart willing to accept responsibility. You learned that the right person will not seek you only when you are radiant. They will also know how to sit beside you during quiet days, when you have nothing to perform and no strength to please anyone. Therefore, the connection that is approaching will not be built from the emptiness of two people attempting to fill one another's voids. I am preparing companionship between two people who have learned how to stand firmly, yet remain humble enough to receive support. This person will not appear to rescue you from every difficulty, and you are not responsible for healing every wound they carry. You will walk beside one another, not to replace me in each other's lives, but to remind one another to live more uprightly, courageously, and maturely in love. When one person feels weak, the other will not use that weakness to gain power. When one makes a mistake, the other will not turn that mistake into a weapon. Both of you will learn to speak the truth without humiliating one another. Establish boundaries without closing your hearts, and forgive without tolerating what causes harm. This story may not follow the pattern the world expects. Circumstances, age, distance, background, or the timing of your meeting may cause some people to doubt. They will look only at what is visible and quickly draw conclusions about something they have never experienced. Yet, Do not allow outside noise to make you lose your inner clarity. I am not telling you to ignore all counsel, because love sometimes needs wise people who can help you see what you have overlooked. However, you must not surrender authority over your future to shallow judgment. Examine the relationship according to the fruit it produces. Does it make you more peaceful or increasingly anxious? Does it encourage you to live honestly or force you to hide? Does it respect your dignity or make you continually beg for attention? The answers to those questions will matter more than any eloquent words. When this person approaches, do not allow old wounds to make you close the door too quickly. I understand that you learned to protect yourself through distance because opening your heart in the past seemed always to demand a price. You fear that if someone sees your whole, authentic self, they will eventually discover a reason to leave. But my beloved child, not everyone who draws near carries the same intentions. Someone will come who does not use your past to condemn you, but looks instead at how you have grown through what you endured. They will not love only the strength you display before the world. They will also respect the tender parts you rarely allow anyone to touch. Even so, open your heart gradually. Genuine love is not afraid of being tested by time. It will not force you to trust before safety has been established, nor make you feel guilty for needing clarity. I also want you to understand that a story capable of changing the way others view love does not have to become famous. It may simply be witnessed within your home, through the way the two of you handle disagreement, care for your family, and keep your word through difficult seasons. Others will be amazed when they see that you no longer repeat old patterns. They will recognize that you have stopped pursuing people who offer only uncertainty. They will see that the person beside you does not attempt to extinguish your light so that they may shine more brightly. The two of you will not compete over who possesses greater power. You will learn together how to protect unity. These quiet choices create lasting strength, because genuine love is not proved only during joyful days, but also through the way people treat one another when they are tired, disappointed, and unable to find an immediate answer. Prepare yourself by releasing unrealistic expectations. The person I bring will not be someone without flaws. They will carry their own history, limitation, and areas still needing refinement. Do not expect them to read every thought in your mind or always act exactly as you desire. You will need to learn one another's language, understand fears that are not the same, and remain patient with differences. There will be moments when you feel challenged, but difficulty does not automatically mean the relationship is wrong. What you must distinguish is whether the difficulty is helping both of you grow or continually destroying dignity and peace. Love may require sacrifice, but it will never require you to abandon yourself, tolerate humiliation, or live in fear. A time will come when you understand that your earlier waiting was not useless. Had this love arrived too soon, you might not have recognized its value, or you might still have been making choices from wounds that had not yet healed. I had to teach you to value peace more than excitement, consistency more than intense promises, and a person capable of walking beside you more than someone who merely knows how to impress. I have also been working within the other person, teaching them to release selfishness, confront immature areas, and learn to love without possessing. When the two of you meet at the proper time, you will no longer ask only what you can receive. You will begin asking what beautiful thing you can build together. Therefore, Do not allow the past to convince you that every story must end in disappointment. Keep your heart tender, but let discernment guard the door. Do not chase predictions. Do not assign a specific face to something that has not yet been confirmed. And do not turn waiting into an obsession. Continue living, continue growing, and continue caring for what has been entrusted to you today. When a sincere connection appears, you will not need to manipulate it in order to keep it. Lose your peace in order to prove it, or continually persuade the other person to recognize your worth. It will be confirmed through actions, respect, and faithfulness. I am preparing for you not merely a beautiful emotion, but the ability to write with another person a story of patience, healing, and hope. That story may encourage many hearts. Because when they look at the two of you, they will know that even in a world where people easily walk away, sincere love can still be cultivated. Remain steadfast and become a place of peace for both people. I chose you not because you have never made mistakes, but because, in the midst of trials, you preserved a heart willing to trust, forgive, and walk uprightly. I have never looked for a perfect outward appearance or a life without scars. What I treasure is that you continued speaking honestly, even when deception might have brought faster advantage. Continued choosing kindness, even when you had every reason to become bitter. And continued standing alone when following the crowd might have protected you from criticism. That willingness is what made you different. In a world where many people change their principles in order to be accepted, there were times when you quietly accepted loss so that you would not betray what you knew was right. Perhaps no one witnessed those hidden choices, but I saw every time you restrained your words, every time you abandoned the desire for revenge, and every step you took through loneliness without losing your goodness. That was not weakness, it was strength refined in silence. I know you were once confused when you realized that some people were unhappy with your progress. You did not harm them, yet your presence still made them uneasy. You did not compete for their position, yet they viewed your growth as a threat. This happened because those who build their worth upon comparison struggle to remain peaceful when they encounter someone who does not need to diminish anyone else in order to stand firmly. They united not through genuine love, but through shared suspicion, unhealthy conversations, and fear that light would expose what they wanted to keep hidden. Outwardly, they may have appeared united and confident, but inwardly, their foundation was already fractured. A group that survives only by opposing one person cannot endure, because when there is no longer someone to blame, they will begin distrusting one another. You do not need to use your hands to destroy what was built upon insecurity. Its own weakness will eventually lead it to the result that matches its nature. Therefore, do not expect a dramatic spectacle to prove that justice is unfolding. Some forms of decline do not arrive through one great event, but through small consequences accumulating each day. Trust among them will gradually erode. Dishonest stories will begin contradicting one another, and those who once discussed you together will realize that they too may become the next subject. When a connection is nourished by envy, it already carries the seed of division. I do not rejoice in anyone's downfall, and I do not want you to find comfort in their failure. What I want you to see is that you do not need to fight using the same methods that wounded you. You do not have to become like them in order to protect yourself. You do not need to answer gossip with more gossip, nor expose their faults to prove your innocence. Truth does not lose its value merely because someone tries to conceal it. And your dignity is not taken from you merely because someone chooses to misunderstand you. While unstable things are exposing themselves, I am quietly building a new foundation for you. I am bringing people who will not feel threatened by your gifts. People who can watch you shine without believing that your light makes them smaller. They will not come to exploit you, misuse your kindness, or appear only when they need something. They will know how to walk beside you, offer honest counsel, and rejoice when you move forward. These relationships may not begin loudly, but they carry a stability your former connections never provided. I am changing the environment around you so that you no longer need to make yourself smaller for others to feel comfortable. You will enter conversations where your abilities are rightly recognized, your ideas are heard, and your integrity is not regarded as naivety. What was once delayed will open again. But this time, it will not bring disorder. It will arrive with order, peace, and people mature enough to respect what has been entrusted to you. Remember that not every accusation deserves an answer. There are times when you need to speak in order to establish boundaries and protect the truth. But there are also times when silence is the strongest choice. The silence I teach you is not passive surrender. It is the refusal to give useless arguments permission to drain your energy. When someone has decided to misunderstand you, hundreds of explanations cannot change what they are unwilling to acknowledge. Do not turn your life into an endless courtroom where you must continually prove your heart before people who were never given authority to judge you. Let the way you live become your answer. While they are occupied speaking about you, continue building. While they question your motives, continue working with purity. While they wait for you to react so that they may gain another reason to oppose you, preserve your peace and take another step forward. Your refusal to be shaken will reveal who is being guided by wisdom and who is being controlled by insecurity. There are many details you cannot yet see, but I am working in places where you have never set foot. Conversations are taking place in which your name is being mentioned with respect. People who once heard only one side of the story are beginning to realize that the truth is not what they were told. Doors that seemed permanently closed are being reconsidered, not because you forced them open, but because the proper time has arrived. I am redirecting paths that once left you trapped, softening hearts that were previously closed, and moving obstacles that you tried for too long to shift through your own strength. Your responsibility is not to control every detail, but to remain prepared. Do not allow former disappointments to make you suspicious when a new opportunity appears. At the same time, do not rush merely because you fear it may disappear. What is truly meant for you will not require you to betray your values, manipulate others, or exchange your peace in order to possess it. You were created to break patterns that have continued for far too long, perhaps within your family, community, or workplace. Silence before wrongdoing was once called wisdom, while compromise was described as the only way to survive. But you were not placed there to dissolve into the environment and become part of what needed to change. I placed within you a sensitivity that prevents you from ignoring what is dishonest. I gave you courage to name problems that many people had grown accustomed to hiding, while also teaching you to do so with compassion rather than pride. You did not come to destroy people, you came to help change the atmosphere. When you enter a place with sincerity, behavior built upon manipulation will feel threatened. When you refuse to participate in toxic conversations, those who depend upon them will assume you are against them. When you refuse to bow before pressure, those accustomed to controlling others will realize that their influence is weakening. Therefore, the opposition you encountered did not always arise because you had done something wrong. Sometimes it appeared because your presence prevented unhealthy things from remaining hidden as they once had. They sensed a change from the moment you entered, even before you fully understood your own role. They realized that you could not easily be controlled through praise, fear, or the desire to belong. They saw that you could remain gentle without becoming weak, forgive while still establishing limits, and love without allowing disrespect to continue. Instead of examining themselves, some chose to oppose you, because changing themselves was more difficult than blaming someone else. Yet their attacks cannot cancel what I placed within you. They only make the difference between truth and falsehood increasingly clear. Each time you remain calm in the face of provocation, what they attempted to place upon you loses more of its power. Even so, do not allow the knowledge that you were chosen to become a reason for looking upon others with arrogance. Receiving a calling does not mean you are greater than anyone else. It means you carry greater responsibility in the way you think, speak, and act. You are not permitted to use pain as an excuse for cruelty, nor may you turn truth into a weapon to humiliate those who opposed you. I want you to keep your hands clean even when an opportunity for revenge appears. Allow mercy and boundaries to exist together. You may refuse to let them continue entering private areas of your life, yet you do not need to wish harm upon them. You may leave an unhealthy environment without carrying hatred. You may correctly name what happened without allowing it to become your identity. Your victory is not found in forcing them to witness that you are above them, but in no longer allowing them to control you through old wounds. Continue moving forward without reducing yourself to fit places you have already outgrown. Do not return seeking affirmation from people who felt secure only when you were weaker than they were. I am leading you into spaces where you will not need to conceal your ability, apologize for your progress, or be labeled selfish for protecting your peace. New allies will recognize both your gifts and your heart. They will not merely desire your success. They will desire for you to succeed while preserving your integrity. With them, you will learn that collaboration does not have to be accompanied by competition. Recognition does not require you to lose your voice. And a healthy environment does not force you to remain continually defensive. What I build may develop more slowly than human display, but it will stand firmly because it is established upon respect, sincerity, and shared purpose. My beloved child, remain steadfast in your position during the days ahead. Do not allow outside words to make you doubt what I cultivated during hidden seasons. I am bringing truth into the light in a way that does not require you to force anything. What belongs to you will arrive through the proper paths. Opportunities that were once delayed will return in a more mature form. And people with upright hearts will recognize the value others once attempted to deny. Your responsibility is to continue living in a manner worthy of what is being entrusted to you. Remain humble when you are elevated, kind when you possess influence, and discerning when you choose companions. You do not need to win every argument. because a life built rightly will speak more powerfully than any defense. Let them speak if they still wish to speak. Continue growing. Let them observe if they still wish to observe. Continue walking. What I placed upon you cannot be taken away by envy. And what I am opening cannot be closed merely because someone does not wish to see you move forward. You have been prepared through every painful season to recognize and preserve genuine love when it enters your life. What you experienced was not wasted time, nor were those wounds meaningless things that brought only exhaustion. I used even the days when you felt weak, the nights when you wiped away your own tears, and the times when you had to rise without anyone's support to deepen your heart. Through those things, you learned to distinguish temporary concern from lasting sincerity. Beautiful but empty words from quiet yet trustworthy actions. You believed you had been left alone, but in truth, I was leading you into a hidden school where patience was refined, self-respect was restored, and your inner eyes were opened so that you would no longer give what is precious to people who know how to come near only when circumstances are easy. Your seasons of waiting also matured you in ways that easy days never could. When things did not happen as you hoped, you were forced to learn not to depend entirely upon immediate emotion. When certain people left, you gradually understood that their absence could not remove your value. When doors that seemed full of promise closed, you began to realize that not every ending was a failure. There were things I had to stop because, had they continued, you would have remained trapped in a cycle that continually made you smaller. I severed ties that appeared safe but were actually exhausting you, so that you could stand firmly without begging anyone to recognize your worth. That maturity is now helping you become ready for a connection that will not require you to lose yourself in order to be loved. You are now drawing closer to what I have quietly been building, even though you may not yet see its full shape. The story about to unfold was not created to display a perfect image before the world. It is being formed around a greater purpose, where two people learn together how to love with responsibility, patience, and faithfulness. There will be moments when both of you must face differences. Lower your pride. Listen when you would rather speak, and choose reconciliation instead of clinging to ego. Genuine love does not mean conflict will never occur. It means that when trials arise, you will not turn one another into enemies. The two of you will learn to stand on the same side against the problem rather than using the problem as a weapon against each other. What makes this connection different is not that it will never experience pressure, but that it will not collapse when pressure arrives. Trials will not be permitted to steal what I place between you. Instead, they will reveal areas needing healing, habits needing change, and values needing reinforcement. When one person becomes weary, the other will learn how to remain near without judgment. When one person cannot see clearly, the other will bring wisdom without becoming controlling. Through every season, both of you will understand that lasting love is not built only through sweet moments, but through the way you keep your word, protect, respect, and choose not to abandon one another during difficult days. That endurance will become a voice more powerful than promises spoken too soon. I know that fears formed by former experiences still remain within you. A quiet voice sometimes tells you not to hope too much, not to open your heart deeply, and not to believe that something good can truly remain. That voice appears because you once hoped and were disappointed, once trusted and had to gather the wounded pieces of yourself. Yet, my beloved child, old memories have no authority to write your future. What happened before was meant to teach you. It was never meant to become a sentence over your life. You are not entering the same story with the same lack of understanding you once possessed. You have matured, learned how to preserve boundaries, and no longer easily confuse attraction with safety. This time, I will teach you to move slowly, observe consistency, and allow truth to prove itself through time. When this person enters your life, you will not need to continually wonder where you stand within their heart. Their presence will not force you to live in constant uncertainty, wait for unpredictable responses, or search for hidden meaning in every silence. There will be a gentle naturalness between you, as though you no longer need to struggle to be seen. You will be able to remain yourself without fear of judgment and reveal your vulnerability without worrying that it will be used to wound you. Peace will gradually replace the tension you once became accustomed to within former relationships. This does not mean everything will always be easy, but even when difficulties arise, you will still feel respect, goodwill, and a mutual desire to find a way forward together. I do not build a purposeful connection through prolonged chaos. What comes from my guidance will not continually pull you away from clarity, diminish your worth, or force you to exchange dignity for the sake of keeping another person. You will recognize what is right through simple but lasting signs, words that agree with actions, care that does not appear only when convenient, and boundaries that are respected rather than regarded as obstacles. This person will not attempt to possess you, nor place upon you the responsibility of healing every painful part within them. You will walk beside one another as two mature people building together, rather than as two people trying to use each other to fill every emptiness within themselves. Even so, not everyone around you will understand what I am doing. Some will judge according to their own experiences and quickly reach conclusions. Others may doubt because they see only outward circumstances and do not know the journey through which I have led both of you. Some may resist simply because your transformation means they can no longer occupy the same familiar position within your life. Do not hand authority over your future to voices that have never carried responsibility for your peace. Listen to wise counsel, but do not allow the fears of others to become your limitations. What I want you to preserve is not stubbornness, but a steadfastness born from clear observation, sincere prayer, and recognition of what is producing good fruit within you.